We've heard everything when it comes to mistakes installing suspension components. So here's our top list of what you can avoid the next time you upgrade your suspension. So the most common thing we hear all the time is that the spring doesn't fit. But what's happening is it's not seated properly. There's a top and a bottom of these springs. Now, depending on your application, what you're trying to do is make sure the top of the spring sits against this upper spring seat completely. Because when you're turning your vehicle, as you can see, that upper spring seat rotates. So if you've got the wrong end on this, it's not gonna be making proper contact, it's not gonna move properly, and at the end of the day, it's not going to be seated, which is gonna give you clunking and popping sounds in the front when you turn your wheel. So make sure you follow your directions and your springs are seated properly. One of the other biggest issues is on the S550 and the S650 Mustang. Do you have Magnaride or don't you? It doesn't matter what the dealer said, what option package you think, you really need to get underneath your car and look, and it really takes 30 seconds. In the rear of your car, you've got two springs. One is wound clockwise, and the other is wound in the completely opposite direction, but only on Magnaride cars. I mean, it's one of those things that, honest to goodness, on a weekly basis, we have customers ordering Magnaride springs that thought they had Magnaride, and then other customers ordering non-Magnaride springs when they actually had Magnaride. So take the 20 seconds, look under the rear of your car, and it'll give you the answer. One of the other biggest things is using an impact. While some people use it to take apart the strut assembly, and if you're changing your factory shocks and struts to say Steeda Pro Action shocks and struts, then yes, you can go ahead and pull it off with an impact. But when you go to put this back together, you can't just use an impact. There's gonna become a point in time where that strut shaft starts spinning, and that can hurt the seals in the strut assembly and cause potential issues for leaks down the road. What we recommend is our Steeda strut nut tools. These are tools designed specifically for tightening up your front struts, where you can put this on and then hold the strut assembly shaft straight with a wrench, clock it in, go ahead, tighten it down. Now, of course, you can tighten it down by hand until everything wants to start spinning. Then these strut nut socket tools, they're an absolute lifesaver to not only install it properly, but to prevent any damage from your front struts and to reduce the potential from knocking. Because if this isn't tight, you're gonna get a knock in your front end as well. These bump stops, what they are designed to do is keep your suspension from completely crashing. There's potholes, there's uneven surfaces. When it gets jarred up in there, the last thing you wanna do is bottom out your rear shock or your front strut. That's gonna cause damage and potential failure. So the bump stop acts as a cushion. It stops it when you hit a bump. The problem is when you lower your vehicle, you're reducing the amount of suspension travel. Therefore, you've got to trim your bump stops. Otherwise, you're gonna go down the road and it's gonna feel like you're bouncing on something, especially if you have passengers in your car, something in the trunk. So this is our Steeda Silver Bullet. It has our drag springs on it. And as you can see, we have trimmed that bump stop about 3/4 to an inch. We got the back down real nice and low on the car, so it's better aerodynamically going down the track, but kind of think of it as a good rule of thumb. You lower your car a 1/2 inch, you're gonna wanna trim a 1/2 inch. You lower it an inch, you're gonna wanna trim an inch off. Now this is in the rear and the front. Now one thing to keep in mind, if you got an S550 or S650 with Magnaride, there is no front bump stop. There's only a bump stop in the rear. The front is completely controlled via the Magnaride. So one of the questions we get all the time also about the suspension kits is, what do you do about the torque to yield bolts or replacing your hardware, especially on these newer cars when the Ford shop manual says that's exactly what you have to do? Well, we don't include replacement hardware in the majority of our kits, and neither does Ford with the factory components. So it's kind of one of those gray areas. If you see your hardware and it's rusted, it looks beat up, maybe you live in a climate where they salt the roads, or you got a vehicle that's around salt water a lot, then yes, it's a good idea to replace your bolts in. For $169, you can get all of this hardware, which completes your suspension from Steeda, that is called the Ford Performance Handling Pack Hardware Kit. Once again, it's not something that you necessarily need to do, but the factory does recommend it, and therefore we've got a kit available for your S550 and S650, and even you Fox guys. Let's face it, that hardware has been on there for decades. So we've got lower control arm and upper control arm replacement hardware kits for your 79 to 04 Fox Body Mustang. One of the other questions we get is, where do I adjust my adjustable parts? That could be a panhard bar, that could be sway bar end links, toe links, camber arms, even lower control arms. The best rule of thumb is to adjust it to the length of the factory setup, the factory part. So for end links, you're gonna adjust them to the factory length, get them installed on your car, and then if you need to adjust them, you adjust them from there. Things like the panhard bar, you're gonna set it to the same length as stock, you're gonna get it installed, and then you're gonna go ahead and look at the back of the car and see which way you need to shift the axle. Those are really easy. Now things like toe links, those are something that, depending on how far away you are from an alignment shop, you might wanna pay the hour's worth of labor to get them installed there. Because if you adjust it to the factory length and you use our Steeda lockout tabs, you're gonna be towed in. Well, if you gotta drive 10 miles or 20 miles to the alignment shop, you're gonna put some good wear on your tires if they're really towed in. So because of the lockout tab and you adjust to the factory setting, that's not a really good idea. So it might be something that you wait till you get to the alignment shop, or you eyeball it. Set to the factory length, get it installed, go ahead and look at your car and you could see the toe. You wanna push it a little towed out, get it going straight. That's gonna help save your tires as you go to the alignment shop. Camber arms isn't gonna be as much of a big deal as say the toe links. You see cars all the time with way too much negative camber. So taking a short 10, 15, 20 mile ride to your alignment shop with your camber a little bit off, that's not a big deal either. The other beauty of an adjustable part, like say for the Explorer, the adjustable Explorer toe link, it actually makes installing it a little bit easier, where you might just need to pull it in or just push it out a little bit to get that bolt in there. So keep that in mind. If it's adjustable setup, it actually is gonna make your installation a lot easier. Another question we get is, I installed suspension components and I'm getting a squeak. Usually that happens because there's not enough grease applied. Now, when we assemble these in the assembly department, the bushings actually go in dry. We don't want the bushings moving inside the control arm. But when you go to assemble them, you have to grease the surface of the bushing. Now in assembly, we actually grease the internal part here where the sleeve goes in, therefore allowing the sleeve to pivot when your suspension goes up and down. Same thing with parts like the vertical link. You want to grease the entire face of that. Once again, quiet operation. We provide grease packs in all of the kits. Sway bars, you're going to want to grease the inside of that bushing, once again, to allow the sway bar to pivot and be very quiet. Also with that sway bar bushing, it's important to grease the face of it that is against the sway bar stop. Once again, ensuring quiet operation, no NVH, and no squeaks. Now if the part comes with grease fitting, say our very popular Steeda ball joints, those, you're gonna just give it a couple pumps of grease. Same thing with our adjustable end links. You don't wanna over grease it. That's very important. What we've actually seen is by over greasing it, you could hydraulically either destroy the bushing or blow out your boot, especially with the end links. So all it needs is one pump, maybe two, that's it. You don't need to kill it. Otherwise, you're gonna put so much grease in there, you're gonna actually break your seals. And we do have replacement seals, but usually it's all from over greasing them. Now this is something that's kind of new over the last decade or so, is clocking your bushings. Let's face it, if you got a Fox body, one of the first things you did was replace the upper and lower control arms to get better traction. Well, when you did that, you didn't need to worry about clocking your bushing. But fast forward, S197s, S550s, S650s, the bushings all come bonded to the different suspension parts, from the upper control arm on the S197 to all of your suspension pieces in this S550. The camber arm, the vertical links, even the toe links have bushings that are bonded. What that means is if you tighten your suspension when it's in full droop, it's gonna create an artificial spring rate. Then you lower your car down, but the bushings are still trying to pick it up. You'll even see this in front and rear sway bar kits where the bushings are actually glued to the front and rear sway bar. So it's very important when you install suspension lowering springs or any suspension components on these newer vehicles, you don't want to torque the bolts until the vehicle is at curb, which means it's at ride height. Then you go ahead and tighten everything down. Now, if you have replacement parts, you have a Steeda camber arm, Steeda vertical links, and Steeda toe links. Those items have free floating bushings and sleeves. Therefore, those can actually be tightened in droop and then lower to the ground without affecting your ride height or your ride quality. When do I need an alignment? Well, when you add sway bars to your car, you don't need an alignment. Diff bolts, you don't need an alignment. Alignment dowels, yes, you're changing your physical subframe in the back of the car, you're going to need an alignment. Camber arms, yes. Toe links, yes. Why? Because those are adjustment ranges, right? You can adjust your toe, you can adjust your camber, you can adjust your caster. So if you're changing components that affect that or the ride height of your vehicle, you're going to want to get an alignment done. But sway bars, you don't. Diff bushings, you don't. Even vertical links. All vertical links do is keep your rear tire in a vertical plane. But now what did it say if you add spring spacers? You're only trying to get a 1/4 inch higher. Yes, you should do an alignment. When you raise the vehicle, it's gonna go camber out. So those are all little things. When in doubt, reach out to one of our professionals, but you really only need to change the alignment when you change caster, camber, toe, or your ride height. Last but not least, torque specs and retorquing after 100 miles. All your suspension parts, when they're bolted on, they're changing the way your vehicle drives, the way it feels. It's very important after the first 100 miles to go ahead and retorque things. Things like the diff bolts, suspension components, IRS braces, shoot, even H-pipes, things like that. You're gonna wanna go back and retorque them. Why? Because things move, especially when you first install them. If we take one tech call a week, we probably take 3 or 4 about clunking noises after installing front or rear sway bars. 10 times out of 10, it's a loose sway bar end link. For things like that, we really suggest using red Loctite. It's gonna prevent it from loosening up in the future. Another thing, wheel spacers. You don't need to be hot rodding around and have a wheel come flying off your car. So torque them to spec when you install them, drive for 100 miles or so, and go ahead and retorque them. It's probably one of the most forgotten steps to do, but it's also one of the easiest. You've already installed it, you know you need a 15 and a 17 millimeter, but just go ahead, go back, retorque everything after 100 miles, and then you're good to go. You really never have to worry about it again. So hopefully this video helps save you some time. It's not that we don't love talking to our customers, but these are things that we hear on a daily basis here at Steeda. So hit like, subscribe, follow us on all of our social channels, and remember, Steeda, where speed matters.